What is up, everybody? It's Tyler with Mom's Basement MMA. We got the champ in the house. We got the future UFC lightweight champion of the world, Terrance T-Rex McKinney. Terrance, man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, brother, and I received that in Jesus' name. I will be the UFC champion.
There's just something about you. You're a very, very special talent, and you honestly remind me so much of like Vitor Belfort, a guy that can just go in the ring and finish people. That's what you've been lately. But at the beginning of your career, you weren't really finishing guys like that. You were choking guys out. And in your recent interviews, you've been talking about, everyone's been talking about your stand-up game. Everyone's been talking about your striking. And you're saying, like, it's okay, I guess, but it's not really all that great. I still got work I got to do. So, like, how do you assess yourself? And for people that have only seen you maybe go for a couple bouts, what is it that you want to tell people? Because I've done my homework on you. I know exactly how good you are, and you haven't even shown people all that you can do.
Exactly. I'm just trying to show as little as possible so they have a little bit of study when I fight for the belt. All they're going to know is I'm a killer and I want that fear in their heart.
You starched Frivola. And by the way, thank you. You made me some money. You were a plus 200 underdog. And when I saw that, I jumped on that shit. I know exactly what was going to happen. Everyone was surprised. I was not surprised. So thank you first, Terrance, for the steak dinner. I appreciate that.
No problem, brother. A lot of my friends made lots of money. I was stoked for him.
He's a tough dude. I mean, the guy that you starched, he's a tough dude.
Yeah, he went the distance with Armin. He's ranked like 15th in the UFC, so that just shows what kind of level I'm on.
You took a fight on no notice against a guy like that. You go from fighting in these small venues. I know LFA is bigger for a regional promotion, but you're not fighting in front of crowds at that point because of Rona. They fly you to Arizona. You're in a big venue. I knew you were on the undercard, but there's still a shitload of people there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You're fighting a savage. Like, when you're making that walk for the first time, like, obviously in your mind, like, you know you're good enough. You know that you have the talent. You know that you have the skills to compete and beat anybody. But, like, was that walk hard to make?
Nah, I was so stoked to do it. And when the song came on, All Eyes on Me, I said, yeah, let's get this shit, man. It felt right. It felt like I was at home. And I know this is what I was born to do, you know? All the life experience I had preparing for this moment. Wrestling in state finals in front of thousands of people. Like every moment has prepared me for this. And I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
I mean, you made UFC history, one of the fastest knockouts in the history of the sport, and your name is going to be on a wall carved in somewhere saying, like, you know, fastest knockout of all time. Well, it was in the lightweight division.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be forgetting that anytime soon. And the unfortunate thing, and I think you even were kind of hard on yourself, like, what I mean by that is everyone started talking about the whole knee thing. Everyone started talking about the injury that happened afterward. And it's not like you were like doing a Justin Gaethje off the back of the cage or like doing the worm like Johnny Walker. You were doing what I see every fighter do. I'm just happy that the knee wasn't jacked up and it was just your calf. So what was the rehab like for that? Like, did that ruin your summer plans, or were you just on crutches for a couple days? How did it work?
I did crutches for like maybe a day, but I was walking just fine. Most of the time I was just walking without it because I hate crutches, to be honest. After like 3 weeks of just working out, I was able to flex my calf. Like, it took me a whole month to flex my calf.
So from a cardio standpoint, like, what do you do to like maintain your cardiovascular?
Oh, I was just hitting mitts.
Okay, okay. So running was like pretty much off the table. Like that
Yeah,
was a
no,
no go for a while.
no go. Yeah,
My heart like sank a little bit because I was like, oh my god. Like I
I did.
watched,
I was like, please, God damn it.
like I immediately when it came to you, when it came to that calf thing, I was like, oh shit, it's 2019 all over again, man. Like that was the first thing that came in my head. For people who don't know, I think that's where your story, at least for me, really starts. It starts in 2019, and here's basically your a look at your career, how it starts. You steamroll through everybody. You're choking all these dudes out. You get a call to go on the Contender Series against a savage. Sean Woodson's a beast, and that
Yeah,
was the first. He is a monster, and I know he's
he's
a
like
40.
what, 3-1 in UFC right now?
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah,
He's a. I know he's a 45er. I know you're a 55er. I know you guys are boys, but I was telling you a couple months back, man, I want you to fight him again. That might not happen, but that was the first time I watched you fight. I was so impressed. I was like, who is this dude? Like, this guy is insane. That was about that you were dominating, and with all due respect to Mr. Woodson, he threw a Jorge. I thought he got lucky just because you just happened to be shooting at a particular time. And this T is what I wanted to ask. I have a lot of fighters that actually watch these shows that I do. They follow this page. And I have a lot of fighters that have been on the Contender Series, and it hasn't worked out for them. I can only imagine how tough of an L that was to take against Woodson, especially when you were winning the fight the way that you were. How did that affect you mentally, and how did you bounce back from a tough L like that?
Um, I feel like it was definitely what I needed. I just think I need to be more humble because like I knew I was injured that fight. I tore my labrum and fractured ball in my shoulder, and I still legit thought I could win no matter what. I overlooked them. I cut a lot of weight that week because I was in the middle of growing. Like eventually I was gonna go up to 55 either way, and like my arm was like going numb trying to squeeze on the choke. Like I couldn't even feel my
Oh,
shoulders.
man.
But yeah, he did good. He timed it right, caught me with the knee. Hats off to him. And yeah, but we all know who was winning that fight, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew I had nothing to be ashamed of because not only was I able to stand on the feet with him, and this guy was a Golden Glove boxer, that just shows what kind of athlete I was, and I just refused to let it put me down because like I'm fighting against a guy that people think should be in the UFC. Like anyone on Contender Series, they should be in the UFC. So like I just took it as like I'm right there, and it was actually more motivating to me taking those two losses in a row.
So is it fair to say that you would tell a fighter who watches these shows if they lost in the Contender Series, just like, hey, regroup, reassess, and use it as motivation? Is that basically what you would tell them?
Exactly, you know, because that means you're just one win away. You're already on the radar if you're on the show. That just means you got to make a little bit more noise, and you get that short notice UFC fight, and that's what happened. And no matter what, it could have been a 1 day notice. I'll fight.
You go to Vegas, you go to the Apex, you fight in front of Dana White, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, all those guys. You take an L. You're probably not. You probably had plans like, man, I'm gonna get a dub in Vegas. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna party tonight. I'm gonna have a good time. And it doesn't work out that way. And then a few months later, you're fighting back in like these small promotions. Is that like kind of a bummer? Like you go from being in like the show or on the outskirts of the show, and now you got to fight in Tennessee or Milwaukee or some random place. Is that like, does that kind of like hurt your ego a little bit after something like that, or is it just one of those like, damn man, I got to work even harder now to get out of here?
It like I said, I knew what I had to do. Like I wrestled before, like I've been ranked number one in the nation, and I've been not ranked at all. You know, it's like a true champion is defined like how he takes his loss. In my opinion, if you can take a loss, then I know you're a bad motherfucker. If you can bounce back, then I know you're a bad dude. That's how I think about it. Cause like when I wrestle, like the toughest guys, like I lose to them, and then they're in the finals, like at nationals. You know, that's the savage to me. Like, just don't be denied, win or lose. Like there's always a way to bounce back. You'll see a person eventually again. We're all in the UFC, so
And there are no easy fights in the UFC. Every single person,
is
particularly in 55, is a savage.
is that
You are going into a Shark Tank. Like, I don't care who you're fighting in 55. It could be um, it could be a ranked opponent. It could be an unranked opponent. Every single person in the UFC is a monster. There are no easy fights in the UFC, in my opinion, particularly in your weight class. I won't say that about every weight class, but at 55 and at 70 and 35, absolutely, it's
Great,
true.
great.
And
But I know people consider 55 the tough weight class, and that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to go to this weight class.
so,
Because
like,
I want to be known as the greatest to ever do it, you know?
UFC at large, and let's talk about Usman and Covington. You're taking Usman for that one? You think Usman's going to win that fight?
100%. He's sharper with the hands now. The dude's powerful, stiff, strong. Like, he's hard to take down. Like, yeah, I think he gets it done
Man,
again, but quicker.
it is so hard to bet against Usman right now.
No, he's on a different level right now.
It's
He's
just
focused.
I mean, were you shocked that he knocked out Jorge Masvidal?
Oh yeah, I would have never expected that in history.
I mean, golly. I mean, it wasn't surprising that he won. I think we all kind of knew
Mm-hmm.
Usman was going to win that fight, but the way he won it
Mm-hmm.
is what shocked me. I was like, nobody sleeps Jorge. Like, that just doesn't happen. And Jorge
Yeah,
got
like, he
slept.
slept him. He slept him bad.
I like Colby Covington. I do. A lot of people
No,
don't
he's a
like.
filthy fighter. I agree.
I like him. And the fact that he acts like a bad guy, his whole like gimmick, that makes me like him even more. Because like, I don't know, like the fact that he irritates people, like I don't know what it is.
He be having the girls all over his Instagram. I ain't mad at him.
I'm not mad at him either. And when I think about that fight, when I think about Usman, when I think about Covington, I like Covington a lot. But yeah, I think you're probably right. Kamaru Usman is so good. I just don't see how that fight doesn't go his way.
Exactly.
It's impossible. And now I want to talk about your weight class, 55. Got Dustin Poirier going up against Charles Oliveira. Who do you like for that one?
I got Dustin.
I do too.
I really want Dustin to win.
I do too.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And it makes me wonder if he wins. How many defenses he'll have.
I wouldn't be mad if he retired after. He should. I think.
What else does he have to prove? He's made his money.
Yeah,
Fought
exactly.
Connor twice. You should fight Connor. You should fight Connor.
I want to.
Dude, that'd be great.
That'd be sick. Who don't want the red panties night? I'll fight him right now.
Dude, like, yeah, you should fight Conor McGregor and starch him.
yeah, like, exactly.
And be lefty versus lefty. Why not?
Yeah,
let's make it happen, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's see what happens. When you look at the state of 55 and 70, there are a lot of names, a lot of guys that have been there for a really long time. Guys that are probably on the back nine of their career. I think that's safe to say. But now all of a sudden we're starting to see like the new wave, the new generation. The other Terrance McKinney's come in, and your guy, Michael Chiesa, he's got to fight against a guy who's like one of those new wave guys, and Sean Brady coming up, and that's going to be interesting. You guys are fighting on the same card. I would be remiss to not mention him. I know he's like your dude. How do you see that? Obviously, you're going to pick Mike Chiesa. You have to. You have to. But where do you think Chiesa has the advantage?
I think his height's going to be a problem for Sean Brady. His length during the scrambles, he's going to be able to win most of them just off his reach. And, that leverage trench is a huge thing. That's why he's so strong when you go against him. But I see it going to decision Mike Chiesa.
Man, I love Michael Chiesa too. Brady's just a tough guy to pick against. I think I'm going to take Brady. I think I'm taking Brady, man. Don't hate me.
I ain't mad at you. He's a tough dude. He's a little brick house, man.
Dude, like, oh my gosh. That hurts me to say. I love Chiesa. I always have. But Brady is just he's big and he's strong. And that'll be an interesting one to see.
I'm excited for that fight, honestly. I'm really looking forward to that fight.
I'm looking forward to that card. I mean, there are so many amazing fights that...
So many people are going to be watching on this card. This fight card's going crazy.
Dude, it's probably the best UFC Fight Night card that I have seen this year.
Ever. And
It's
I
it's amazing, and
they
I
got Adrian Giannis on it versus Davy Grant. That's a bad.
the whole Aspen Ladd corner situation. Like I was watching ESPN and they like quoted you, like they grabbed like a tweet of yours and they threw it up on ESPN saying, "Oh, Terrance said this." I don't want to like be your attorney or nothing like that. I want you to explain it. Like, what did you mean by what you wrote on Twitter about that whole fiasco?
I think you just gotta know your body, and at the end of the day, you're a professional, so you got to get it done.
I this might be an asshole thing to say. If it's an asshole thing to say, T, tell me. I don't have a problem with the corner. I don't.
Yeah,
I personally don't. When she fought in 2019, her very last fight, her coach was on her ass. They were telling her, "Yo, you need to get out there. You need to pound this girl." And she listened, gets the KO just like her coaches asked her to get. The coach is the hero. Like, oh, she was well coached. Her coach did the exact same thing. It doesn't work out, and all of a sudden now he's a bad guy. I find
yeah.
that hard to believe. I
The
don't have a
sport.
problem with it.
Yeah, that's the sport. It's a double-edged sword. 1 second they love you, you lose.
And
They
then,
hate.
yeah, and I think that was the story. I think the frustrating thing for me, I knew Dumont was going to win. I put a little degen bet on Dumont because I had a feeling this was going to happen. She just looked flat-footed. She looked tired. And she looked scared, quite honestly. And her fighting at 45, I don't know if that's a really solid idea for her. About this next dude that you got, that got paired up against you. And what's interesting about this guy is he was on the same card you were. Did you run into this guy at all? Like during
Yeah,
weigh-ins, or like what's
I,
your take on this guy, and what were your interactions with him like?
I think I talked to him like one time. He seems like he's a nice kid. You know,
Is
you can tell
yeah,
he's very humble. Good
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Talked a little bit. He's a cool dude.
He's
I
he's
respect him.
he's tall. He is fast. He is a great kickboxer. I know he's like a
Hey,
K1
champion.
kickboxing dude.
Yeah,
Um, I don't like this fight for him. Honestly, I don't. I think you're a really bad matchup for him, and I'm kind of surprised that they're on board with this fight. Um, like stylistically, I just don't think it's a good matchup for him. Like he's a kickboxer, he wants to keep this on his feet. I don't know if he's fought a guy that's as powerful as you though. Like Jamie Malarkey is a fucking monster.
yeah,
That dude's scary. I think you're stronger than Jamie though, by a
yeah,
lot. Like those
yeah.
shots that Jamie was getting him with, like if you like punch that dude with your left, he's going to sleep.
He's going to sleep. I think it's more so like I'm fast as hell and accurate. Like I'm gonna touch the chin. I know I'm gonna touch the chin, and it might be a wrap right there.
Are you expecting him to get on his bike and try to like keep the distance away from you and like try to kick you to death?
Oh yeah. We're working on it. He kicks, man. Like I said, he might get smoked right there. We're timing it so perfect. Like he kicks, we're grabbing his legs, and we're shooting a punch straight down the pipe.
I that's why I don't like this matchup for this kid. Were like you surprised that this
I'm
was the name
surprised they
you were
took the
given?
fight, and when they gave it to me, I was like, hell yeah. I think this matchup just plays highly in my favor. So
I just got to tell you, this Ziam, he's a special guy. You're gonna run into him again, regardless of what happens in this
I
fight.
agree.
You
Mm-hmm.
starch this guy and sleep him right away. If it goes to in the unlikely event it goes to a decision, you guys are both like the new wave of fighters that are going to be around for a long time. He's very talented. He's very gifted. I am kind of surprised that this fight's happening. I kind of don't really like seeing young, really talented dudes fight against each other. I really don't like that. I just think it kind of fucks things up. To be quite
Yeah.
honest with you, I do. This is a favorable matchup for you. I like you in this one a lot. I'll be surprised if it gets past the first. If it does, I will be shocked. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, we're looking to get out there first.
I think it's
I just know he's technical, and with technical guys, you just gotta make it a dogfight. Like, and I know like I'm gonna hit harder, so I won't be scared. I just know like in that dogfight, I just gotta hit him one time clean,
that's
and
it.
it could be game over.
That's it, man. I think it's going to look a lot like some of your other fights, man. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's going to be a couple minutes, and I think this kid's going to be sleeping. I sincerely believe that.
me too.
Not a good matchup for him. Hey, but props to him, man. He signed the contract, so
I know I respect him. I respect anyone that signed a contract. He's a warrior, and he thinks he can win, and I like that. Let's see who wins.
so when you win, who is there's a guy I want you to fight. That would mean a lot to me if you could fight this dude because I don't like him at all, and I want to see this guy get absolutely starched. Jeremy Stevens, man, he's got to get starched. I don't like him.
He already got bullied his last fight, man.
Well, on Tapology, he's like ranked above you though.
No way.
Yeah,
I would scorch him, to be honest.
I don't like that guy. I think he really annoys me. I really don't like him. I think
He's too little for 55, honestly.
he should. Yeah, he should be like.
Because when he fought Grandma's shoulder, he was just too little.
They can all get it, man. Every one of them can get it.
They all can. Like after these next one fight, they're gonna be scared. I know they are.
I'm scared. I'm scared, and I'm not. I just watch like.
I already been tested 3 times by Asada. When I went and did the testing out there, I was putting numbers through the roof with my arms.
Terrance, man, thank you so much for your time, man. You're an absolute legend. There's a lot of promise behind you. You have put blood, sweat, and tears to get to where you have in this game, and you're one of the good guys. And from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate your time this evening, and I want to give you the opportunity before I let you go to shout out any of your sponsors, anything that you got going on that we need to know about and that your fans need to know about.
I want to give a shout out to Jason House and Jacob Prager and everyone in the Iridium agency. We just got 100 guys to UFC. That's real huge. Like no one's done that yet, so I'm proud of them. I want to give a shout out to Mom Qatar Johnson and my stepdad Tony Jones. And I'd just like to give the biggest shout out to God for just getting me here today. And I'm going to try to stay humble and just keep getting these wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, Terrance T-Rex McKinney. Thank you for your time, Terrance.